Or in the last video, we had a little bit of introduction about this, which is the new function of the Shiny, built with Shiny app, which is called the kitchen check without the kitchen triangles. But you can download the user manual here, which is in a PDF file, and in this section we're just gonna talk about a little bit of the source code of this, which is uploaded in the GitHub, which can be accessed there. View project on GitHub, and to use this, you need a traditional R or R Studio, but it doesn't matter. But it has to be the latest version of at least 3.42 version of this. Maybe you get a 3.4.1 and it still kind of still works, but I would recommend you to keep it updated, because we probably use some new function of this, which is the visualization of the matrix, and the different version might work a little bit differently. And to run this app, basically all need is the server app, the server and user interface code, and you could run it locally in a separate file. As you can see, as you drag here, it takes a little bit of time, but it's sometimes faster than that on a web page. And the other ways is using this this online program, because by using that you don't have to download anything. But to access to further functions, or let's just explain how this function works. So it gives you an input, the select bar input in millimeters, and it converts divide by 1000, which gives you a value in meters. And I loaded this function, which is called kitchen check here, and that actually can be more powerful than this, because if you get 3 points, for example, 0.6, I remember that was 2.5, and the second point, which has the position 2, which is great. The third point, it's 3.42. Yeah, and I haven't loaded this. We need to load the function before we do that. Yeah. Yeah. So it gives you a list, which is pretty much the same with this one. So there's a list here. It's giving you a list. So if you want to modify, one way of doing this is to simplify a little bit of the kitchen check function. For example, if you only need minimize a certain value, for example, the division. So I'm assuming that by minimizing this, we get a better shape of the triangle. So tells you that this is what you need. And I know this is probably not very efficient, but you could create another script. Oops. Which just returned one of them. Well, this is a very insufficient way of doing this, but yeah, you know. And If I do that, it's just giving you one of them, so you can kind of compare with different things. Let's just slide there, and you can create a for loop with this, but this is not modified because I haven't really decided which function to reserve, because you might consider using more working area and using better shape of triangle at the same time, which kind of corrupt with each other. So maybe that isn't the best way of doing this. But the code, the source code is on GitHub, so you can get access to it pretty soon. The second function is called the visualization of the distribution of the second point, because so to see there's 2 points fixed. If I know one certain value of one side to know the exact position of the offset the offset point, it's very easy to plot this, which is enclosed by four circles and 2 ellipses. So the way we get the 2 circles that is their radius are the low limit and upper limit of the side, because it's a set of points which have the same radius from the first point. For example, this is very obviously 120 because the low limit of the side is 120, and this is 270, and the same for this point. So the first side is fixed, and it gives you a range of the third point. And yeah, so it does this by doing a matplot, and you can modify it to give you a 3-dimensional plot if it doesn't end up with error, because the first version of this was a large piece of code, and then I built it into one certain function, which can be activated by one line of code. For example, here it gives you a xp equals 170, and just using this, and we clean. Yeah, you can change the length of the size, and it gives you that's 120, and you see the effects of the small eclipse is gonna matter more when the first side is very small, and as it gets larger, for example 130, it slightly changes. So that's the visualization, and some further development of this package might include to plot the third point inside the range of this, because the triangle isn't always